So now we're doing a GCW WrestleMania 3. What happened at GCW WrestleMania 3? We already did this for GCW WrestleMania 1 and GCW WrestleMania 2. And you guys have been asking a lot when the next parts are going to come out. And I saved these up so I can make them and upload them while I'm filming GCW WrestleMania 8. Because the filming itself takes a lot of time. And I need some easier to produce videos for right now, so I kind of saved these up. So I would say let's take a look at what happened at this show. And the opening contest, as you guys can see right here, is the Wyatt family against the Young Bucks. You have just seen my pretty cool Wyatt family intro that I made myself back in the day. I really like that. That really doesn't still look too bad. And here we have Harper and Rowan coming out with the tag titles. You know, the Wyatt family was so unstoppable in GCW. And you can see Eric Rowan there with the jumpsuit. It's pretty much a custom. It's an Elite Cain and the Rowan hat on it and the Daniel Bryan jumpsuit on it. Because, you know, Elite Rowans are just terrible to pose with. So that's what I did there. And there you can see the cool Jericho. That was a custom too. He was the United Wrestling Champion back in that day. And that was a cooperation between GCW, Prime Wrestling, CWA, and XWE. So that was some cool stuff we did back in the day. But yeah, I think this was the first Young Bucks match in GCW. This is when I brought them in, and I thought it was a pretty fun match here. It went quite a while, if I remember correctly. Yeah, what actually happened here is that this ponytail I had for Nick Jackson came off, and I had no idea what to do with, because that just came off. You know, I was in the middle of the match, and I figured, what can we do? So I just glued it on for a bit, and then I just had Luke Harper rip it off. That was definitely not planned, but I had to figure something out to do with my Nick Jackson because it just broke off. So that was kind of annoying, but the match was actually really fun. I mean, these teams had a really cool chemistry in the ring together. So let's kind of see. I think here we are near the finish. This was a cool double team I used to do with the Wyatt family. And Matt counters it, ducks the clothesline. There we go, kick in the corner. And yeah, I think this is the finish actually. Yeah, super kick, and then he finally can lift him up into the Indie Taker. And the Young Bucks pick up the GCW Tag Team Championship. Actually, I think the day after I released this show, I went off to Japan and went to the Invasion Attack show. That was really cool. Kota Ibushi and AJ Styles in the main event in Tokyo. Sumo Hall was really fun. But let's see. Next match I had was Big E and Shelton Benjamin. These were both guys I had pushed heavily. You know, Big E was a GCW champion, and Shelton Benjamin was a World Heavyweight champion. And then I didn't really have anything for them at WrestleMania, so I just decided, hey, let's put them in a match together. And it was quite a fun match, I think. Let's see how this one ends. Here we go. Benjamin for the buckle bomb, going for the pay dirt. Big E counters into the pin, but Shelton had his hand underneath top rope, going for another big ending, countered into the pay dirt, and that was it. Shelton Benjamin defeated Big E at GCW WrestleMania 3. And yeah, I think they shook hands afterwards, and they teamed for a couple shows after that. So what I had next was the Cruiserweight Open ladder match, and that was a really fun concept because we put the Cruiserweight Championship over the ring, obviously, like a normal ladder match, and we just opened up. Any Cruiserweight could get into this match whenever they want to. So the winner obviously will be the one that gets in and gets the Cruiserweight Championship. So we kind of started off with some guys fighting, and then over time there were more guys entering that were waiting a little bit for the match to, go on, and maybe have other competitors get hurt so they have an easier time. So I think that it's actually quite a fun concept, and I really want to bring that kind of match back to GCW pretty soon. So, you have John Morrison come in, you have the Matadors, you have the Usos in there. I put like every cruiserweight I could find into that, and it was just a really fun match. I think Kofi Kingston held the Cruiserweight Championship for a while. Xavier Woods got in it. There you have Curt Hawkins and RVD, Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal, however you want to call it. And I think, you could also eliminate people if you pin them, so that those people would be out. They couldn't win the match anymore. But you can't win the match by pinfall. You had to go to the top, to the ladder, and get the championship. So that was quite fun right there. And here we have Curt Hawkins, Evan Bourne's spot. And I think Curt Hawkins picked up the Cruiserweight Championship on that show. Threw El Torito onto Kofi Kingston, got the championship. So I think we could do that a lot better this time around. So I think it's a fun concept that we should do. And here we have the Real Americans. They're cashing in their Money in the Bank. They really waited a whole year, because if you remember, at GCW WrestleMania 2, they won the tag team Money in the Bank briefcases, and then they didn't cash it in, so they had to cash it in because it was a year later. And then the Wyatt family ran in because they were mad that they lost the tag team championships, blah blah blah, and that set up a tag title match 3-way for Backlash, if I remember correctly. Then, the next match was the Intercontinental Championship, and that was Alex Brooks, John Trademark, and Daniel Bryan, which was actually such a fun feud that I had going for a very long time. And that kind of, the feud ended for what it was there. It got picked up later on in GCW again, if I remember correctly. But this was such a fun 3-way here between all those guys. And John Trademark and Alex Brooks, if you haven't seen them in the previous parts of what happened at GCW WrestleMania, they are like creator wrestlers. So John Trademark right now is on commentary in GCW. I put him on commentary. And Daniel Bryan had to retire because of a neck injury, kind of like in real life, and he's now also on the commentary team. And I think this match was really good. If you want to check that out, you definitely should go ahead and watch that match. I think it was really fun. Brooks and Trademark just have like really fun move sets to use. So he has that double foot stomp moonsault thing. Daniel Bryan goes for the knee. Alex Brooks throws him out, but doesn't quite get it done. They're just trying to cover Trademark, and now Bryan going for the yes lock. And I think a pretty cool spot is coming now. Trademark is doing his finisher, which is basically dropping his opponent on his neck. And then he goes for this dive. And, that goes right into a tombstone. I think that's pretty cool, but I don't think like that would be possible in real life. I guess you would have to be really good to pull that off, and it would be, if you do it 10 times, maybe it would work once, but that would be very difficult. And Daniel Bryan won, and that was that. And then still one of my favorite matches in GCW history, that was this 3-on-3 tag team match. Team GCW wearing the green against the Shield. And if you remember, this plays off from the last year's WrestleMania. My booking is always very long term, and I really like that about my booking. We had the 3-way between Punk, Orton, and Cena in the main event. They were all fighting against each other for the GCW Championship, and the Shield was kind of ringside with the group of Laurinaitis. And now the Shield was in GCW trying to take over, and now the GCW Originals and Punk, Orton, and Cena had to defend GCW against the Shield. So I thought that was really cool and was such a fun street fight. If you want to check that match out in full, just look up GCW WrestleMania 3. Was, I think, it was probably the best match on this whole card. That was really, really fun. We had this huge superplex by Orton through the table. That was great. I mean, there's so much cool stuff happening in this match. The RKO STFU combination there. And then Rollins goes for the stomp out of it. And then Rollins goes for the stomp on Orton, but back in the day, Ambrose got in the way, and Orton could hit the RKO, so that kind of was a distraction right there for Team GCW to pick up the win. Then Tyson Kidd had won the Royal Rumble that year, and I really planned to give a huge push to Tyson Kidd in that year, but it never really stuck. So that was kind of unfortunate, but the match with Ziggler was pretty fun. Tyson Kidd and Dolph Ziggler in real life would have a really good match too, I think. So yeah, that was really a fun one. Let's see how this is ending right here. Canadian Destroyer. The Canadian Destroyer is really fun to use. And I think we're near the finish here. Tyson Kidd almost has it. Dolph Ziggler gets up, and I think now Kidd comes charging at Ziggler, and Ziggler just super kicks him and picks up the victory and retains the World Championship. So that was that. And then the main event. This was not really a main event that was a great match itself, I thought, but it was a huge story that came to an end again. It's playing off what happened the year before. If you have seen that video, we had Paul Bearer align with the Wyatt family and take out Cain. Cain got burned in that rocking chair, and then the Wyatt family after that held Cain hostage for the whole year and stuff like that. It was really fun. And then in the Cell match at GCW Christmas Cage, I think it was, Wyatt and Cain were in the same Hell in a Cell, and then Cain finally turned on Wyatt, got a #1 contendership for the championship, won the championship at the Royal Rumble, and then it was set up that it was Bray and Cain here at WrestleMania in a casket match to get that feud over with. And Cain was walking in as GCW champion. Bray Wyatt was so dominating GCW ever since he came in. And what I wanted to do here is to crown Bray Wyatt the champion for the first time at GCW WrestleMania. And the match itself is I think it's alright. It's not that great. But, you got the Wyatt family involved and stuff like that. You get Paul Bearer in it. Then Bo Dallas showed up as well. I think then the lights kept going out. The Undertaker actually showed up, to distract Wyatt and then just walked back. Cain, Wyatt counters that into his sister Abigail and puts Cain into the casket and becomes a GCW champion for the very first time. And, I had started to build Bray Wyatt now for like 1.5 years, and he became the GCW champion finally. I thought that was very well done, and that was the show for GCW WrestleMania 3. It was a really improvement from previous WrestleManias, I thought. Let me know what you thought of this WrestleMania in the comment section down below. That wraps it up for today. I'm working on GCW WrestleMania. Actually, we're doing great progress. I'm already really far into the show. It's going very, very well, I can tell you that. So I cannot wait to release GCW WrestleMania 8 to you guys. But we're still going to get this whole series done. We're still going to do WrestleMania 4, 5, 6, and 7, what happened at those shows, and some behind the scenes look at that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. That wraps it up here for today, and I catch you all very soon.